Hello everyone, this is Indrajit Chatterjee. Welcome to SIR EduQuest. Today we are here to learn about a topic from physics. We are going to discuss about a topic which is very much important in our day-to-day life. It can be seen anywhere around us and almost wherever we go and wherever we look, we can feel this. The topic is light. So let's get into it. So what is light? Light is basically a form of energy which helps us in seeing objects around us. It is a form of invisible energy which cannot be seen until and unless it is obstructed by an object. When light falls on an object, some of the light gets reflected and that reflected light comes to our eyes and we are able to see that object. So talking about the different sources of light. There are mainly two sources of light. These are luminous bodies and non-luminous bodies. Firstly, luminous bodies are the bodies which emit light by itself. For example, if we see around us, we can see the sun. And in our households, we can see flashlights, torches, etc. And in case of non-luminous bodies, these are the bodies which do not emit light from their own. For example, moon, wood, paper. If we look at the moon, it is a non-luminous body. It basically reflects the light which falls on it from the sun and it hits back to our eyes. In this way, we can see the moon. So next, we can talk about the general definitions of light. There are three different types of medium through which light passes. Firstly, we see transparent medium. Talking about transparent medium, it is basically a medium from which we can see clearly. Any transparent medium allows light to pass through them. For example, glass, water, etc. Secondly, we can talk about translucent medium. Translucent medium are the medium from which light cannot pass freely. A faint light can be passed and some of the light is blocked. For example, butter paper or a normal paper can also act as a translucent medium. And thirdly, we have with us an opaque medium. Opaque medium are the bodies which do not let light to pass through it at all. For example, wood, anything. Then we have other different mediums like homogeneous medium, heterogeneous medium, then beam of light, parallel beam of light, point source, extended source of light, divergent beam of light and convergent beam of light, etc. Now, the next thing that we are going to talk about is the concept of shadows and how they are formed. When an opaque object is placed in path of light, a dark portion is formed on the opposite side of the object on the screen. This is why when you go outside or if you stand in front of a source of light, you can see a dark figure form behind you. Is that a ghost? No, that is not a ghost. Don't get afraid. That is the thing which we call shadows. This dark portion is mainly shadow. So how they are formed? The size of the shadow depends on the distance of the source of light and on the angle on which the source of light is situated from the object. If the source of light is closer to the object, a larger shadow can be formed. And if the source of light is very far away from the object, the shadow size decreases. The shadow can only be seen on a screen or the ground, walls of the room and any plain surface or a rugged surface, but that surface should be darker. Shadow sometimes gives a lot of information about the object. If you stand in front of a source of light, you can see the shadow form behind you have the structure same as yourself. That means it depicts how you look like and what your structure is. Shadows are always black in color and this is never changed by the color of the opaque objects. So if we place a red rose and a yellow rose, we always get dark and black shadows. So the next topic that we are going to learn about is rectilinear propagation of light. A very much general property of light is that it travels in a straight line. This phenomenon is generally known as the rectilinear propagation of light. For rectilinear propagation of light, we can come up with two main terms, which are a ray of light and a beam of light. So, what is a ray of light? We know that light travels in a straight line, but how does it travel? It goes from like this, like a rocket. Phew. This is a ray of light, which is a path along which the light travels in a given direction. So as we know, light travels in the straight line, we can represent the ray of light by a straight line with a direction arrow. And in case of beam of light, when many rays of light come up together, it is known as a beam of light, and it moves to a same direction. Seeing this picture, we can see how a beam of light and a ray of light looks like. Going to the next part of this, we know about mirrors. We live in our houses, we can see mirrors everywhere around our house. What are mirrors? We all have seen basically plane mirrors. It is very commonly used in our life. We use that in cars, in our houses, in our dressing room, bathroom, etc. Plane mirrors are formed by layering molten aluminium or silver onto the back of a sheet of glass inside a vacuum tube or a chamber. Vacuum is used basically to fuse the elements together and make the mirror very simple and smooth. Now, so what happens with mirrors? When we stand in front of a mirror, we see our face in the mirror. This is possible through the phenomenon of reflection of light. Basically, light rays are reflected from parts of our body, fall on a mirror and are reflected back to us. When these reflected rays reach our eyes, reflected on our retina, we can see the image in the mirror. That is, a ray of light is passing through my body and it's going to a mirror here. It then reflects back and comes back to my eyes. That's how I see my body. But have you ever noticed that our left hand in the mirror looks as the right hand and the right hand looks as left hand? This is because the image that falls on the mirror is laterally inverted. The other properties of the image are, it is erect, it is of the same size, and it retains the same color as the object which reflects. What is lateral inversion? The right side of the object appears to be the left side of its image, and vice versa. This is basically known as lateral inversion. The next topic we have is a very interesting one. The topic is about pinhole camera and how it is prepared. We can prepare this in our houses, and it's a very fun to play with it. We can take two boxes so that one can slide into one another with no gap in between them. We have to then cut open one side of each box, and on the opposite face of the larger box, we can make a small hole in the middle. In the smaller box, we have to cut out from the middle a square with a side of about 5 to 6 centimeters around, and we then have to cover the open square in the box with tracing paper or a butter paper so that it can act as a translucent medium. What was translucent medium? Translucent medium was the medium through which light can pass faintly. So for this, we have to then slide the smaller box into the larger one with the hole in such a way that the side with the tracing paper is inside. Now it is very much ready to use. How to use it? We now have to hold the pinhole camera and look through the open face of the smaller box. We should be able to use a piece of black cloth to cover our head and the pinhole camera. Now we have to focus on any object we want to capture in the camera and make sure that the object we wish to look we can see it very much clearly and in bright sunshine through the pinhole camera. Then we have to move the smaller box forward or backward till we get a picture on the tracing paper and on the other end. This is basically focusing on the object so that it can be seen clearly. Based on this concept of pinhole cameras, we can see it naturally. We have the natural pinhole camera like If we pass under a tree covered with large number of leaves, we notice that small patches of sunlight under it. These circular images are in fact pinhole images of the sun. The gaps between the leaves act as the pinholes. These gaps are all kinds of irregular shapes, but we can see circular images of the sun. This is called the natural pinhole camera. And based on this, we can also see eclipses. Eclipses are phenomena or occurrences which depicts formation of shadows by light. It is the blurring or blocking of the light from one celestial body by the passage of another between it and the observer, or between its source of illumination. Eclipses can be of mainly two types: solar eclipses and lunar eclipses. In this picture, we can see the two kinds of eclipses. These are solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. In case of solar eclipse, the sun, moon and earth lines up with the moon in between sun and the earth. The sun's light falls on the moon, creating a shadow on earth, and in this way the umbra and penumbra are respectively formed. In case of lunar eclipse, we can see the sun, earth and moon lining up with the earth staying in between the sun and the moon. The sun's rays falls on the earth, and in this way the earth's shadow comes over the moon with zero visibility of the moon, forming the umbra and penumbra again respectively. So this is all for today. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Then we will meet again with a new topic in the next video. Thank you.